Hey guys, this is Sven here. Hope you're all having an amazing day. Here in front of you, you are seeing what we call a deal summary. Investors are very much financially focused. That means, yes, they love the business that they are potentially investing in. But more important is, in the end, after all of the bells and whistles, it's for them the numbers that make most sense. So rather than leading with a pitch deck, right, the first exercise that we will always do is create a deal summary. The deal summary is you could almost say like a financial product sheet, which is a one pager. And if I put it larger on the screen, it looks something like this, right? So let's go over it in a deeper way. In this case, we carry our logo. It's the deal summary. We share the business, the sector, and in what industry they are active. We're letting them know, the investor as well, that a 4x your capital invested in front-runner digitizing bus transport sector, developing into fintech play. So this is more like a kind of headline to get investors to evaluate the deal. Then what you see as well is that we have here the current date, 31st of January 2023. The availability is $1 million. And the closing date is 27th of February. In other words, 3.5 weeks from now. So the investor in this case already knows it's a B2B2C transport. It's a 4x potential return on investment. Then what we see here on the left side is what we call very much the investment thesis. Here on the right side, you see a micro market development and a macro market development, right? The difference between micro and macro is that in micro, we are zooming really in on the current circumstances in the market. But the micro is influenced by the macro, which means the total market, right? And all of the problems that are actually happening on a larger scale. So in this case, on the left side, we want to provide a financial overview, number driven, about all of the specific guidelines. So in this case, we start with the CEO name. We share here year founded, headquartered, and operation. The differences between headquartered is that it could be the same country or otherwise city as the operation. But what we see in Asian countries is that many are incorporated in Singapore because of the more flexible solutions. And then we have the operations in, for example, the city of origin, right? So year founded 2019, Singapore, Bangladesh. In other words, year founded, headquartered operations. The industry is transportation tech, SaaS. The sector is a B2B2C, and sometimes we're adding little chunks, little sparkles additionally to make our point that this is a business they should be looking at. The current stage is Series A. They're in a revenue, or it could be no revenue, or it could be fast track revenue. The total capital raised is $2.8 million. Can be another number if that's the case. The current ARR, which stands for annualized recurring revenue, and the GMV. So the current ARR is $3.1 million. The GMV, as that's applicable to this business, is $112 million, right? So in this case, what we want to show here as well is that the business is big when it comes to cash collection and actually has a very healthy revenue scheme. MOM stands for revenue growth, month-on-month revenue growth, and then there's the gross profit margin. So we learn here is that the revenue is growing 20% month-on-month and has a 21% gross profit. The 2023 projections in this example, I need to add them. what we do here is paving actually the road for what will happen. So we expect in 2023 projections to be X, 2024 projections to be B, and then the capital needed is 5 million, whereof 1 million is open, or how we call it, available. Then the previous and current valuation, or last round valuation, is $12 million, and the upcoming valuation is $31. What we want to do is add here a 2.58, because that's typically the difference between 31 and the 12, right? So investors that have participated in this round have currently, in the last round, up till right now, almost 2.5 times doubled their money. Then what we always want to show is the use of funds. The use of funds will be city expansion in this case and fintech angle. The expected valuation in the Series B is $110 to $125 million, which in this case again creates an additional 4x growth. Then we're actually having as well the exit strategy, which could be an M&A or an IPO at $500 million. Important note here is that we are adding, let me put this here, always a disclaimer. The financial projections presented in this executive summary represent the subjective views of the management of the company and management current estimates of future performances based on various assumptions which management believe are reasonable. Industry experts may disagree with these assumptions and with management view of the market and the project prospects of the company. This is just to make sure that we are protecting our ass. Now, on the right side, we are going into the micro market development, where we first share the solution, then we go into notable achievements of the team, and then we go into macro, where we mention the TAM, total addressable market, and the SOM, serviceable optical market. Then the valuation median, industry valuation median, I should actually say, as you can see, it's not there here yet, but this information is available. So we can see if the valuation in the market is currently lower than that. Then the notable raises and exits is to show that this specific industry has an opportunity to truly drive exits, that there's cash flow, money flow inside of this industry. Now, this financial overview should excite investors to see more of the business. The next step after this is where we actually sharing the teaser, right? To give people a more like a deeper understanding of what truly is happening on a micro level inside of the business. Then after the teaser, we are moving into the investment memorandum, and the investment memorandum eventually moves into the pitch deck and the call, right? So you could see this as a first handshake to really get someone excited. So if you're going to make this, make sure that you're following most of the items here that needs to be discovered from your pitch decks, data rooms, whatsoever. And additionally, you are filling in more like on a high level overview what is currently happening in the market, right? It could be that some information is different in an industry. So let's say if you're into real estate, if you are into e-commerce, it could be that you're using other kind of metrics. In this specific case, we're focusing on this. So no matter if you are a startup founder that's raising capital, or you as well onboarding yourself as an investment relation associate inside of our business, this is what you definitely need to know. And this is your ticket to success. Thank you very much, and I wish you an amazing day.